Hello, YouTube. Deranged Clown here. So, I just want to do a video. Hopefully, it will be a short. It may go a little bit longer. And it's about a very serious topic. I think we are all well aware of these riots that are going on across the country. And I think we all want them to stop. So, here's my input, as pathetic as it is, on how to stop it. A lot of my ideas I'm paraphrasing from other people, so I'll just put that forward. It involves money. Money is the driving force behind these riots and protests. In the LA riots, the rioters are being paid $150 a day. This is according to witnesses, people who were approached and told, hey, if you go protest, we will give you $150 a day. We'll tell you which street you have to go to. And it's very well organized. And this is something that Trump has been talking about. This is what also witnesses have confirmed. If these rioters in New York City are making $200 a day. So what's driving these riots is not justice or politics. Although I do think that there are some rioters who do feel that way. But I think the majority of the rioters or protesters are there for the money. So it should be illegal to protest for money. If you're protesting for money, it should be a misdemeanor. That will take care of a lot of things. Another thing, we need to start looking at where the sources of the money for these riots are coming from. There's a Walmart heiress who lives outside of the U.S. She has a net value of $19 billion. B as in billion. 19 billion. She's paying for the No Kings protests, riots, and as a Utahn, I hate to say that it led to some violence in Salt Lake. And that's what happens when rich people decide that they got so much money that there is no physical way that they could spend all that money in their entire lifetime, so they are going to play social engineer. We need to get these rich people out of the picture. We need to go after the ability of the Walmart heiress and George Soros, probably the Koch brothers. Bill Gates would be a likely suspect too. We need to focus on them, and we need to focus on how the money is leaving them, who's processing that money, and how it's getting to the point where random people on the street, random young people, are being offered $150 a day to cause chaos and sometimes egregious violence. So we need to track that. And in some cases, like the Walmart heiress, where she's outside of the U.S., there needs to be diplomatic pressure, as well as an investigation as to how that money is coming to those protesters. What's the process? Who's doing all the financial links to make that possible? And that's where the NGOs come into play, and the so-called charities. They need to be investigated. And sadly, it looks like some of these NGOs, non-government organizations, um, are paying for these riots using taxpayer money. So I think that every NGO that is suspected of funding these riots needs to have a federal audit and needs to be audited every week. And these millionaires, these billionaires need to be investigated and to see if they are funding these riots, and they need to be held accountable. Some people may say, well, how's that possible? Well, it's pretty simple. Forensic accounting, it's a specialized accounting career, and these are people who track criminal behavior using accounting. So you can think of them as a cross between a police officer and a accounting nerd. And they are very important. They have a lot of experience. They track money laundering. They track the funds for terrorist organizations, for the mafia, organized crime rings, cartels. They have the expertise. They have the ability. And so that is what we need to do. Meanwhile, we will need National Guard and Marines in the blue states because they just don't care about the violence. And Gavin Newsom can, talk tough all he wants to, but everyone knows that rioters don't get punished in blue states. They just don't. So, National Guard, Marines in the blue states, federalize the whole response because they're blue states. Red states like Utah, law enforcement can handle it. Maybe have some advisors with the National Guard, Marines, DHS, ICE. Maybe have some of them advising, but the majority need to be deployed to the blue state of the federal officials. And this needs to be a federal response. And I would further move that if anyone is found guilty of accepting money to participate in a protest, then that should be treated as a crime. And I furthermore want to say that if anyone wears a mask in a protest, they need to be arrested. All right? And people may say, oh, that's extreme. Well, one of the ways that the KKK was broken, by the way, that was a very evil organization, just pure hate. One of the ways that they broke it was they banned masks. So then the identities were known, and ultimately they were dismantled. They were the original domestic terrorists. And now we have new domestic terrorists wearing different masks. But it's the exact same idea. Terrorize your fellow citizens and then hide behind a mask and act like you did nothing wrong. If it worked in the past, it can work now. If you're wearing a mask in a protest, automatic arrest, picture, citation, and thorough investigation. That way we can restore peace to America. So let me know in the comments what you think about that, and have a great day.